Traffic wardens. Don't you just love traffic wardens? Something happened with the traffic warden one day when me and my wife were at an airport waiting to catch a plane. But before I tell you what happened there, let me tell you what happened with a traffic warden and a friend of mine. Now, this friend of mine used to be a guardsman, and then he went and joined the Foreign Legion, so he's a big, tough, soldier type bloke. And he was running across the road, and as he ran across the road, there was a traffic warden writing a ticket for a car. And the traffic warden saw him coming and started running backwards in panic with his arms out, saying, "I'm only doing my job, I'm only doing my job," and fell into a shop doorway, legs in the air, the whole works, still waving his arms around, screaming, "I'm only doing my job." And my friend looked down at him and said, "And I'm only crossing the road." So misunderstandings can of course happen, and some of them are very funny. But we were standing outside of this airport, and there was a traffic warden walking around taking notes of cars and what have you. And these two young guys had just pulled up. They were in their 20s, somewhere around there, and pulled up, and they obviously had to move straight away. And as they were leaving, they started abusing the traffic warden and saying to him, "I bet you've got no friends. I bet you go home all on your own. I bet you're lonely. I bet no one likes you. How does it feel?" And was really rubbing it into this guy. And his last words he said to the traffic warden as they drove off was, "Nobody loves you." And I tapped him on the shoulder and I said to him, "Excuse me." I said, "Jesus loves you." And he said, "Thanks, mate." Like that. That was how it came out. He was just so relieved to hear that someone loved him, because all he ever heard all day, every day, was abuse, being told that no one loves him. And here's the thing. Before I knew Jesus, that's how I felt. No one loved me. That's how I felt. And since I became a born-again Christian, I've met so many people who believe that no one loves them. And when someone takes the time to talk to them, sometimes when we stop and talk to people, I mean, one lady said to us, "No one ever talks to me." And I said to her, "Well, we're talking to you." And on our travels around the world, it's amazing how many lonely people we have met, just believing that no one loves them. There was a girl in the north of Australia who always sat in doorways. I won't say which town it was in, but she always sat in the doorway all the time. And she looked quite young, but it turned out she was in her 50s. But she looked as if, you know, she had weathered so well, and yet she was homeless. And what she would do was she'd go and sleep somewhere at night, find a place to sleep, and then she'd go and sit in doorways. And so we decided to go and speak to her, and my wife would approach her just in case she thought that, you know, I was trying on with her or something like that. So my wife went and had a quick word with her, and then I went over, and you know, and we had a really long chat, and she spoke and spoke and spoke to us, told us all sorts of things. She said, "No one ever talks to me." And we said, "Well, we're talking to you." And we offered her prayer, and she accepted prayer. And by the next evening, when we walked past where she usually was, she wasn't sitting in the shop doorway on the floor. She was sitting outside a cafe with a coffee and a newspaper. The change in her was amazing. Why? Because someone told her that she was loved. And it's very important for everyone to know that they're loved. Because if you go through your whole life thinking that nobody loves you, first of all, you're very mistaken. Because Jesus loves you, because he knows you. So when he loves you, he's loving someone that he knows. And it's no good thinking, you know what, no one cares. Because that's not true. We care. And there's a lot of other people that care as well. So don't think no one loves you. Don't think no one cares. Because that's simply not true. That's the trick of this world that the devil has put here, to make everyone feel as if they're not loved, as if no one cares, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. When you're in trouble, help comes from places you just don't expect it to, because God is watching you. And if you're looking for him, even if you're in trouble, he's preparing the way for you. Jesus loves you.